Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of We Live in Color. I'm your host, Deaunte Damper. Now before we begin, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Converge Media. You can learn more about blog posts, community events, The Day with Trey, Back to Basic, and more. Go to whereweconverge.com to learn more on why Black media matters. When we talk about faith, sometimes we look at it in a religious standpoint, right? And that is important. But above all else, it is also faith in yourself, standing tall, and not just the faith, but yourself and in the journey. This guest is important to community because they stand in faith. And I'm so happy that they're going to share their journey with us today. Darius.
Thank you for having me, Deaunte. I am delighted to be here on today.
And delighted to have you.
Thank you.
You have been standing firm in community, and community is standing firm with you. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so happy for you to be in this space. Yeah. Because there's been many a times where people have said, people like you and myself could not be in this space, but here we are.
Here we are, right now.
Yeah, and most of the people that we've interviewed are here in Western Washington, where their journey has begun. Yours has been in Florida. So tell us about that.
Well, again, I want to thank you for allowing me to be here today, creating a brave space and a safe space, to be here and have this conversation. But I'm from Cocoa, Florida, a very small town, right? Living there, I had some ups and downs. Yeah. I am the oldest of seven.
Oh,
my mom has seven.
Okay.
Yes, seven kids.
Shout out to mama.
Yes, shout out to mom. But yeah, I'm the oldest of seven. And my mom had me when she was young. So you know how that is. I had to really help my mom out with my brothers and my sister. Well, at that time, it was just my brothers. My sister came along later on. So, me having to grow up fast, learning responsibility, being able to, be there to support my mother, it was a challenge. It was a challenge because I was at an age to where I had to learn how to, make bottles and change diapers and things of that nature. So, but, as time went by, I started to grow up and I started to make these decisions. Started making decisions that took me on a path that, anybody else would say that was wrong, that was bad, but those decisions got me where I am today, because it's not about the destiny, it's about the process.
Yeah, and what were some of those decisions?
Some of those decisions were, I started doing drugs. Yeah. I started doing those drugs. And that's only because sometimes when people start doing those things, they are crying out for help. In that moment, I was kind of lost. I didn't have no direction. My father had been in prison, and my mom been a single parent, that kind of weighed in on me.
And what was the help that you needed, right? Sometimes when we have leaned on substances, right, it's like there is a cry for help. But what was that help that you wish that you would have gotten at that time?
I just needed that support.
Yeah.
I just needed someone to help guide me, to help, push me. All of us need a push. All of us need some type of support. Sometimes, people ask how you doing, and we be like, oh, I'm okay. But deep down inside, are you really okay?
Because you're a person like that was of service in some which way, taking care of six kids. I knew within your mom, father not being there in the space, you're just being of service and nobody's checking in on you because they think you got it. Is that how it was?
Yeah, exactly. Just thought I had it. It was just pretty much, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. But yeah, and then things started to transition as I get older.
Yeah, right.
I started doing those drugs and I started doing heavier drugs.
Yeah.
And then that's what led me to going to prison.
Yeah.
Doing 3 years in prison, making those choices that, man, I'm telling you, like, you just start doing things that the first thing that you feel, you just do it without even thinking. Like they say, choose wisely the things you do. But the things that I did, they wasn't wise. But I can say as I look back over that now, this is what got me here today because I'm able to learn from it.
And the road in prison, right? I myself have been there too. What was that even just as isolating?
Man, being in that place, it could make you or break you. I didn't know what to expect going to prison. I did jail time, in and out of jail time a lot, but going to a place where I really have to sit down for a numerous amount of years, 3 years, you know, I didn't know what to expect. But that place, I got to learn who Darius was. Yeah. I got to learn my weaknesses. I got to learn my strengths. You know, I began to, you know, get closer with God while I was in prison, even though I knew God before I went to prison. A lot of people say, oh, you go to prison, you start reading Bible and things of that nature, but I knew who God was, but that was a time where I needed to sit down because he had a plan for me, you know? So as I'm in that place, I was able to be a leader in there as well, you know, because I started to find myself. So now my light is beginning to shine in a dark place. Yeah. Even though I was in a dark place, now I'm put in a dark place for my light to shine. Yeah. Right. So yeah, if you know, going that place, it can either make you or break you, but it made me. Yeah. I didn't let it consume me. Right. Yeah. So I did the time.
Yeah. And you did the time, and honestly, and we're going to talk a little bit about coming out of that space, and then what it looked like you coming to Seattle, right? And how you kept on being guided by faith. We'll do that right after the break. You're watching We Live in Color.
Get ready for an unforgettable conversation. Join beloved talk show TV star Sherry Shepherd for a special episode of The Day with Trey. Sherry opens up about her incredible career, the joys of motherhood, and the importance of staying true to yourself. Make sure and tune into this very special episode of The Day with Trey on August 8th at 8:30 p.m. across all Converge media platforms or at whereweconverge.com.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on clients discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
This enrollment is a situation whereby people whose birthright to be indigenous is being stolen from them by politicians that have been elected to lead.
Today, the latest or last chapter of the saga concerned the threatened physical ejectment of as many as 21 Nooksack families from their homes.
I think it's come about by hatred for our family. That's what it's all about.
Our bloodline is still here. You know, they can't get rid of us.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, and the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
And we're back with We Live in Color. I'm here with my brother Darius. And we were just talking, you know, being in that pit, coming out of incarceration. And what did you end up doing at that point?
You know, getting out, you know, being released from incarceration, I ended up going back to, you know, to Florida, my hometown. And getting out, I still needed that direction. You know, I didn't lose my faith though. However, I still made a left turn. And, you know, they say when you're trying to run away from God, when there's a calling on your life and God has his hands on you, right? You can't run away from him, you know? So I began to run and didn't even realize it. So I started doing drugs again. You know, I started doing it bit by bit, thinking I could control myself now that I've been in prison, I have some type of control. But that devil tried to take control of me, right? So I got in my mind, I said, I can't continue to do this. I remember I was living in a rooming house with 5 other men, and I was in that room, and I just dropped to my knees and just began to cry like, I can't do this no more. I can't keep no money, you know, like I'm going down this dark pit again, and I can't continue to do this. So I entered myself into rehab. You know, nobody told me to go. I went on my own because I wanted better. I had that faith, right? I had to believe in myself that I can do this, however, with the work of my God, you know? So I went into rehab, you know? I did that time, got into rehab. And when I got out, that's when I transitioned.
Yeah.
I transitioned here. I came to Seattle. I needed to leave what was familiar because sometimes we can be in a place where we're so familiar and we can get stuck. And I didn't want to continue to make left turns, right? In my mind, I'm like, okay, this is forward for me.
Yeah.
There is no more backwards.
Yeah.
Right? If I continue to stay here, I'm going to continue to do the same things. So you have to change your people, your places, and your things in order for you to grow, right? So I changed my place.
Yeah.
I had to change my people, and I had to change that thing. I would listen to a sermon by T.D. Jakes, and he said, if you just let go of that only, the suddenly would begin to take place in your life, right? I let go of that only, and that was the drugs. Suddenly began to happen for me.
Okay.
So I transitioned to Seattle, and here I am.
And you transitioned to Seattle, and you came before the pandemic.
Yes.
So how did you navigate? And I love asking our community folks about the pandemic because I think that the way that it affected everybody was different. How did it affect you?
Oh, man. Coming to a place where you don't know nobody, a bigger city. You know, I come from a small town. Everybody know everybody, cousins, brothers, sisters, you know. But coming to this place where you don't know anyone, you know, that was a challenge. And then as I'm starting to get to know people, the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So now I'm shut in, I'm closed in, right? And that takes me back to being in prison, you know, when I had to, you know, learn myself again. During that time of that shutdown, I had to learn myself even more because I'm in a new space now with a new mind, you know? So as I'm in this space, I'm learning more of my strengths. I'm learning more of who I am, learning more of my God, learning more of my faith by being in there. However, it got isolating. It got lonely. It got real lonely because you can't have these conversations with people in person anymore. Everything's on Zoom. You know, telephone calls. Everybody have masks. If you sneeze the wrong way, you go out, somebody jumping. It got really lonely. So I'm like, wow, I transitioned from a place where, you know, I grew up and I felt like I was lonely. Now I'm here. I'm getting to know people. I have this light about me now, and then everything shuts down.
Yeah.
And I go back into that place of being lonely.
Yeah. And then you started to do something that was different, because usually to yourself, and then you start doing things online and pushing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when I was in prison, I had a vision. I used to write a lot, and I had this vision of me speaking to the world on YouTube. It was a vision. In that time, I was like, well, maybe, I don't know if this is gonna happen or not. But I started to see the effect that I had on people, how my story was beginning to inspire individuals, you know, how they can see, man, this brother, you know, come from a small town, grew up with, you know, got 6 brothers and sisters, you know, was on drugs, went to prison. He's sharing this story boldly. You know, he's not holding back, you know, not caring what nobody say. And that's when I knew then that that was a gift that it was given to me so I can help encourage and help people be guided, you know, that have been in that path before, that have been down that dark road before, you know. So that's when I knew I had to use my voice.
Yeah.
You know, because your voice matters, man. Your voice is powerful, but it's powerful in the way that you use it.
Yeah.
Some people use their voice in the wrong way, and it's not powerful. It can either build people up or it can break people down.
Yeah. So starting the ministry in the ministry space in your work, day work. What are some of the things that you've been doing over the past couple of years? So
yes, with Push Start Ministries, I've been doing that. When we started off, it was every other Saturday, and our motto is being healed, becoming whole, to walk in newness of life. There's a lot of healing that needs to take place before you can reach your destiny. You know, it's not about the destiny, it's about the process. It's about what you're learning to get to that destiny, right? So I've been working on my Push Start Ministries. Now Push Start has become nonprofit. I have registered with the state. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. So that's being pushed forward. But now I'm doing this work as well. So I'm steady helping people, steady guiding people, me being a social worker assistant. You know, I'm being able to be an advocate for those that are living with HIV, you know, and that alone can be a challenge, but it's a blessing as well. You know,
and what made you as you are advocating for community members, we know that HIV, especially coming from a place like Florida, it's just no one's advocating for it the way that it should be. It's still just as important as a pandemic, how I look at it. What are some of the messages that you would give to community members on why that's important?
Well, I would say, go get tested.
Yeah.
That is important. You can't, and I know it's easy said and done, you can't worry about what people say, but at the same time, your health matters.
Yes.
Right? I myself, been living with HIV, almost 20 years. I'm a 36-year-old man, and this is my first time ever talking about this publicly, but everything happens for a reason, and I would say just go get tested, and take care of yourself, because you matter. You can live a long time. You can live and still continue to do the things that you want to do, So that's what I would say to them.
Sorry. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I know that you are living in your truth, and that is important to me. And I think that the work that you do is so important, especially for Black folks, heterosexual, old elders, pastors, and people that are going through the incarceration space. It's powerful in owning our truths, right? Is so essential to community, because the more and more we owe our truths, the more and more we are not only healing ourselves, but we are healing our community, because most of us still live in stigma. And I had to I just had to hold your hand, and got me a little emotional, because I know that is your truth, and you standing strong. Someone that is watching this is going to see themselves in the work that you do. Yeah. And I appreciate you for that.
I appreciate you for acknowledging that. A lot of people can't walk in that truth.
Yeah.
So like you said, we are living in that stigma, worrying about what people are going to think about us. So we hide ourselves. We hide ourselves in, behind this brick wall, not knowing what we can offer to people. You don't know who's out there that's thinking about committing suicide. But by you walking in that truth in that moment and them hearing you, that can change their life forever.
Yeah.
And I lead with love. I try to lead with purity and with love, because when you lead with love, you lead with purity, you see all things pure. Yeah. To the pure, all things are pure. You're not looking to see what's wrong with a person. You don't have an eye for that. You just look for the purity in a person, because you don't know how you can help this individual, no matter how they're living or what they're doing. If you are pure, like I just said, that to the pure, all things are pure. That's in the scripture in the Bible. You don't look for the wrong in people, no matter how they're living, because you don't know how you can help guide and lead this individual to their best life, or to their destiny. It's about being a helping hand, about being community, being in the kingdom, And you said something earlier about religion. We are in a kingdom. We are kingdom builders. And kingdom builders are supposed to be leading with love no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what.
All right, so I'm going to wipe my tears, and we will be right back. You are watching We Live in Color.
Hey everybody, this is DJ OG1, co-founder of Portland's Hip Hop Week celebration, August 20th through the 26th. An entire week of celebrating the culture. And we have a special event called Hip Hop Wine and Chill, where we'll be celebrating and honoring Seattle's own Converge Media, Beza Gordon, and Amari Salisbury. Portland Hip Hop Week, August 20th through the 26th. For more information, log on to pdxhiphopweek.com.
Africa Town Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africa Town Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africa Town Plaza is a love letter to the community.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time, watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You seem like the barging down. Got my heart, no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in, then break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the show. Part 2, we don't need no pause. Miss me, we gon' get tipsy, don't need a power shot.
Copy my steel. Face this back that. Copy my steel. Face this back that.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
And we're back. We Live in Color. I don't cry on this show, so I needed a minute, y'all. So we're here with Darius. Darius, we do our We Live in Color tribute. Who would you like to tribute?
I would like to tribute you and Miss Olivet. When I first transitioned here to Seattle, you guys pushed me to the core. Y'all seen something in me that I was trying to see in myself. I was still a little shaky. And you guys helped guide me, you pushed me, you build me, you didn't tear me down. And and you told me what I need to hear, not what I wanted to hear. So I want to tribute you guys. I appreciate that, creating that trust, that space, brave, safe, love, embracing, all of that, that's what I want to tribute to you and Ms. Olivet. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, you ain't gonna make me cry again, but I love you, and I love Miss Olivet. I've been trying to get her to come on here, and she's one of the hidden gems here in Seattle, but I appreciate you coming on today, and I would just love for you to give community a call to action.
Yes.
Right? So I need you to look in that camera and give us a call to action, my brother.
Well, you can reach me on Facebook at Darius Laferio. You can reach me on Instagram at Darius Laferio 1987. You can also email me at DariusLThompson33@gmail.com. Or if you want to reach for Push Start, anything for Push Start, any type of events, anything you want to talk about concerning Push Start, you can reach me at pushstartministries@gmail.com.
Well, that was good. You're doing good. That was good. I have to have you come back on here, but before we get out of here, I just have to say, and this is not just as a host of We Live in Color, this is Deaunte Darius. Mm-hmm. I have watched you stand taller and taller. You may have fallen short at times, but you've never fallen flat. You've always risen to the occasion. When I first started just doing work in community, you were one of the first people that it was just like, no, they are going to be everything that anybody's ever going to say that they can't be.
Thank you for that.
And you are that.
Thank you.
And then some. I think about where you have been and just know that you are going further and further. Push Start is only the beginning of your legacy. And when I think about why this show, We Live in Color, is important, I look back and remember walking with you. Yeah. So you are just as much as I'm a part of hosting this show, you are a part of the legacy of why this show exists.
Thank you for that.
So I love you.
I love you too. And thank you for having me.
Yes. And I want to thank you, community. Thank you for joining us. Please join us next week for a wonderful episode of We Live in Color. Remember to walk with love. Have a good day. Hey everybody, Deaunte Damper. To learn more about our blog posts, community events, and more, go to whereweconverge.com.